Feeling lost, going rough spot with my wife. No idea what to do. My wife said she feels numb towards me and is happier alone. I can't tell if this is depression talking or falling out of love. Either way, I'm scared. What can I do? I am at a total loss as to what to do. My wife and I have been going through a rough patch for several months. Background, for context, this is both of our second marriages. We have been together about 9 years, married about 7 years. Of the 9 years we've been together, 8 to 8.5 have been good to very good. We share the workload, spend time together regularly, talk, very satisfying sex life and unbelievable chemistry for both of us, until the last several months, when it became less frequent and didn't feel as free as before. I get along really well with her one daughter and her husband. I'll explain the other daughter below. We have always respectfully communicated, and generally took turns bringing up difficult conversations as needed. There is also no addictions or abuse. While not perfect, I felt we had more good than bad. I asked her if she agreed, and she does. 2024 was a bad year for both of us. I lost my mother, and my wife had a deteriorating relationship with her other daughter. This problem had been building for about 5 years, and this daughter is now totally estranged. There were several very toxic interactions/confrontations involving this daughter, her husband, and my wife, and sometimes me. It's really bad and very hurtful to my wife. So, we were both in a bad place, grieving different things. We both have a similar history too, from childhood and our ex-spouses, of tending to withdraw and try to deal with problems on our own when things get really bad. Plus, we were in a really bad place of dealing with significant things at the same time. In late November, my wife said that she felt like we were basically roommates. That conversation snapped me out of my fog. Since then, we have had many very challenging and difficult conversations. I have been trying to get to the bottom of what exactly she is feeling and what is going on. She finally said that she feels numb towards me. I asked if she felt like she's lost attraction to me, got the ick, or resents me for things like, do you ever feel like I neglect you, or don't hear you out? Do you feel like I disrespect you? Any concerns about things I have or haven't done? She couldn't think of anything when I asked her. She said she feels like she has nothing to give and just feels numb to me. She also said she feels weird, which the best explanation I could get out of her was basically she feels like a stranger to herself and me. I confronted her, respectfully and gently, but forcefully nonetheless, a few times because I believe she's depressed. What happened with her daughter has been brutal to her. I can only imagine, and I have a lot of empathy for her. I encourage my wife to discuss the possibility of depression with her counselor and physician, which she did bring it up with her counselor, who agreed that it sounds like she has depression. She's supposed to start an antidepressant soon. My wife's always been an energetic and active person, and lately she's been a couch potato who falls asleep as early as 8:30 or 9 p.m. She also didn't want to decorate for Christmas this year, changed her mind eventually, and hasn't been as joyful and grateful as she was before. She's also expressed some dark thoughts that are uncharacteristic, and I directly confronted her about these, out of concern. In December, she told me that come January, she was planning to stay with a friend for a while, an undefined amount of time, to get some space. This was after she said that she felt like she'd be better off single, alone, but she realized that maybe it'd be better to stay with a friend instead of completely leaving. Last week was her first week away. It's been brutal for me. I saw her Sunday for a few hours. We even snuggled a while, and it felt normal to me, and seemed to for her too. I spoke with her yesterday. She said though that she's been happier alone, though she's not totally alone, since she's staying at a friend's place. That's hurt me badly. I can't stop thinking about that. I asked how she felt about that, and she said conflicted, because she feels that way, but doesn't want to. I asked if she thinks our marriage is worth working on, and she said yes, but sounded hesitant. I pressed until she said she thinks we have changed. I asked who did, and she said mostly her, because now she feels sad. She mentioned that before, saying, I'm not the woman you married. My wife has never fought depression or any mental illness so far in her life. I tried to explain that there's sad and there's depressed. I said sad will always be there in some way, because of what happened with her daughter, but depressed is a temporary state, though it feels like it's not. I also explained that depression is lies that sound real, because they come from within. I also told her I want to fight alongside her and help in whatever way I can, both because of my vows and because I love her and she's worth it to me. What I've done so far is to get her some books about how to work through estrangement from your child, which she said have been helpful. I want to believe it's depression/grief talking when she said she feels numb towards me and feels happier alone, and not that she's falling out of love or something like that. This is really scary for me, because I love my wife so much and she's the one I really want. I'm terrified of losing her. I've reminded her several times that there's no one I'd rather be with than her. I tell her I never thought I'd actually find someone like her for me. I also tell her that even though she feels lost now, I still see her good qualities. I feel so lost. I'm not in her head, so I can't tell if it's depression/grief talking, or something else indicating a real problem between us that I'm missing, or a change of heart in her. I also hate that she feels she needs to be a way to sort things out. It was/is really hard for me. I told her, I'm worried about getting more distant the more we are apart, and having too much emotional distance is already a problem. She hasn't been clear about exactly how long she needs, and it also depends on what her friend she's staying with thinks. It's basically week to week now. I really do want to help and support her, but I'm worried about losing myself. This also hurts like crazy, and I think I am feeling depressed too. I'm also frustrated that it's hard to get things out of her sometimes. It's just like she hasn't spent effort trying to dig in and find the words to describe how she feels, and certainly not in sorting out how she feels. But I may be way out of line on this, because it seems like she has depression and that could be interfering. Has anyone been through something like this, on either side? How did you get through? For the spouse who's confused and wants to be supportive, how do you take care of yourself? And what kinds of supportive things actually help?